Hello and welcome to Quality Attempted Horror. We're in the holiday spirit and we're pinch late, but we're going to be talking about Blood Rage, one of the only Thanksgiving slashers that I can think of at the current moment. John has it up there. He's got the Arrow video version, which I will talk about later. The other trailer from Grindhouse would be Thanksgiving, which is one of the funniest things. If you ever see Grindhouse, the whole two pictures, just the Thanksgiving trailer alone made me worth $9. But today we're going to talk about this classic slasher from 1987 that was filmed in 1983. It was filmed in Florida, originally under the title Nightmare at Shadow Woods. And 4 years, I guess they were editing the whole time, but in reality, they probably ran out of money. They shot parts of it in New Jersey. The whole opening drive-in sequence was in New Jersey, so that was kind of fun. Also, drive-ins in New Jersey, like, really? It's the story of twins who basically are in the back of their mother's station wagon as she is engaging in making out would be the best way, and they decide to escape, and one of them just decides to kill someone. And that's kind of how the movie begins.
At a drive-in theater, we should.
At a drive-in theater, yes. And probably this was starring Louis Lasser. I think was Woody Allen's first wife or only wife, which was interesting. She was also on the show Mary Hartman, which was a soap opera spoof, which ran every single day, which I thought was interesting. Unlike Soap, which was a weekly episodic show. I prefer Soap to Mary Hartman, but that's a whole nother tangent. Another fun fact is Ed French, the guy who did the special effects from Terminator 2, did the special effects for this movie. So clearly he knew how to do that Roger Corman style filmmaking. But I've always really liked this movie. I picked up the Arrow video version that John showed before, actually at a record store, and it was the limited edition with the 3 discs. And I remember looking up on eBay, it was $80 and they were selling it for 20. I was like, all right, so what do I do? Instead of reselling it, I just open it and watch it because they had an exclusive composite cut. This movie has 3 cuts for reasons other than known to me. They have the version that you could see on Tubi online. Also, Arrow sells it on the iTunes store for $2.99 sometimes. That's when I would buy it. They had the slasher / Nightmare at Shadow Woods, which is the cut version, which is kind of edited down to 79 minutes. And then they have a composite version, which has footage, more story from the edited version into the full uncut version. And it's basically a scene at a pool and all the teenagers. It's a little more like development, and they were just talking about, oh God, I'd never want to work as a cashier for the rest of my life. I'd kill myself. And I was just like, oh. It was just like, wow, that was kind of, it was a pointless scene, but it was a lot of fun. I really actually enjoyed this movie. The soundtrack alone, the opening music, like I don't think they've released it on vinyl, or I don't know if Mondo did it yet, but I remember someone did a recreation of it on YouTube, and it's fantastic. Just the synths. And Sam Raimi's brother also appears in this movie, Ted Raimi, as the condom salesman. Big claim to fame. But yeah, I really like this movie. I put it up there and probably like one of my favorite crappy slasher movies, or just fun to watch with people, just because this movie is a lot of fun and the acting is terrible. And yeah, we're gonna go into that in just a few minutes with spoilers and stuff, but let's talk reactions. Who wants to go first? First time watcher or experienced watcher? Come on.
Go with the Rook.
All right, Rookie. That's
Yeah.
you.
I agree. I thought this was a lot of fun, and I watched it right the day before Thanksgiving, so really put me in the mood for some cranberry sauce. But yeah, it was good. I feel like it was a lot funnier than I thought. Maybe parts of that on purpose, parts of that not on purpose. And I think, like you said, the gore was good. It was way better than I thought it was going to be. And yeah, I feel like it was a wild movie.
All right, John, what did you think?
You guys pretty much covered it. It's well made enough to be watchable, and it's just bad enough to be entertaining. And there's blood, and there's a plot twist, and what else could you ask for Thanksgiving horror? There's not too many Thanksgiving horror movies, so this one kind of is this is it. Like, this is the one that people point to over maybe Thanksgiving, or I don't know if anyone's seen Thanksgiving with the turkey that runs around. It's pretty bad too.
I think, like you said, even the bad parts were still fun
Oh yeah.
to watch. Like,
Yeah, entertaining.
The
I didn't feel
pie.
like, oh, I'm bored, I'm gonna turn this off. It was just like, this is wild.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you want to see what happens.
Yeah, her with the pumpkin pie was just like, and when he was like, "Oh, this pie, I made it special for him," and he's just crushing it. I'm like, all right. And what was it that it was like? It seemed like she was on the phone for like 25 minutes throughout the movie, and then she wasn't even talking to anyone. She was talking to a phone operator, and her acting, because she's the most experienced actress in the movie, and it just seems like she's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But the guy who plays Todd and Terry, he seems like he has way too much fun. Like the diving board sex scene, that is what jumps out to me. Because first of all, I don't know what the hell they're doing or how they're doing it. Hey, stop that. And then they have that was clearly like thrown together in the last second because they don't even show any close-ups, but I was like, this is just beautiful. And I don't know, it's just so much fun. And there was a slasher movie book where they talk about the different genre or different aspects or different time periods of slashers. They say the golden age is 1978 with Halloween till 1984 with Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like that early 80s slasher feel a lot more so than like when the sequels start coming in. For some reason, like when film quality got better or they got more into the slasher business or the budget went up, it just seemed to take away from it. You know, that grimy, scary, like that basket case look, or like it just looks more filmy. And this movie was released during the late part of the 80s when the sequels were coming out, but it was filmed in the 1983. So I
thought I thought the scene when they're in the woods and she's like cut in half.
Yes.
And her guts are out and she's like, I was like, oh, this is impressive for this time.
Yeah.
I feel like typically it would just be like a plastic looking, half of a body with a lot of fake blood, but yeah, it was cool.
The guy who did the effects was the guy who had his head cut off and was hanging. That guy actually did the special effects. That was the special effects guy. So I thought that was a cool cameo that he did. And he went from that, and then a few years later, Terminator 2. You're like, okay, like he clearly had talent, but to go into one of the most important special effects movies of our generation, at least, I don't know if people still talk about it. I don't.
It still holds. I would say it still holds up.
It holds up.
Terminator 2. I mean, Blood Rage too. But
yeah,
Terminator 2 definitely. I would say if you watch it now, there's movies that come out now that look worse than Terminator 2. So
that's true.
There's definitely they definitely were. I mean, there's a couple scenes that are a little spotty, but
yeah.
But all things considered, nice job.
But I think also the Blu-ray that John has, it is a very good release. Like not to harp on it, but the bonus features, they were just talking about how guerrilla filmmaking it was. And most of the time with slashers like this, I like how they made the movie almost as much. This movie and The Mutilator, I remember, are very similar, where it was like a town effort and everyone was in on it because 80s were slashers. A lot of people shot it on VHS and did it, but this was shot on film, and you're like, yeah, we had to get the budget, and then like the script sucked, but it's just fun, especially when they give it these really good like 4K restorations, and you're like, oh, it looks good, maybe too good, but it's a lot of fun. And I don't know, I always try to recommend this movie to people just because I don't think a lot of people know it, because this is more of a C/D level or tier, because it's not like your main slashers like Jason, Freddy, or Michael Myers. And then it's just, but it feels human. And when I did a deep dive of this subgenre of slashers and stuff, I seem to gravitate more towards films that people make versus budget or studio movies. And I always like the fact because I feel like the three of us could just go out and do it. Jim sent me a video he did like years back, and I was like, oh, it's so cool. But you think why do people always make horror movies? They're cheap, and you just need it's suspense, and it's the less you show, the more. But then you focus on a couple of good shots. But the cranberry sauce, and he was having way too much fun as a slasher, and he's not like he doesn't have a mask or anything. He's just a goofy guy, and the worst part in the beginning, not worst, best, kills the person, just starts wiping the blood as the people can see him wiping the blood. He did it. Oh my God, why would you do it? What? And he just completely framed, and you're like, all right. It's something else.
But when you edited a movie for 4 years,
Yeah, that's it.
Things are gonna happen. Mistakes were made.
That's
Kind of forget what you were thinking at the time.
That's Terrence Malick level there. The way he edits, all of his movies takes years to edit them.
I was wondering that because the it's not cranberry sauce line comes up a second time later when they're in the woods, and I was wondering if maybe at one point they were concerned if it was going to get cut in one area, so they said it again in another, but then they just kept like, yeah, let's just have them keep saying it because it's funny.
It's a good tagline though.
You're doing a Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah.
It's almost somebody was gonna have to throw that in a movie at some point. So
it's not cranberry sauce.
Did you guys see the Thanksgiving trailer for that Grindhouse had, or do you know what I'm talking about? Eli Roth
from the one from Planet Terror.
It was just called Thanksgiving.
I'm saying it was all those trailers in between.
One.
Yeah, that one, right? Yeah.
I remember seeing that and like, why haven't they had a Thanksgiving slasher? And then when I found this, I was like, oh, there is a Thanksgiving slasher, just nobody knows of it.
Well, they didn't call it, like if you hear Blood Rage, it doesn't ring Thanksgiving. Yeah. So it doesn't, and there's nothing like even on the Arrow re-release.
Yeah,
there's no. Yeah, just him with a machete. There's no.
But it's
no turkey. There's no. Cranberry sauce. There's no.
Well,
they don't do anything to push the time.
True.
Yeah, you're right. It's just the kind of the day of the week for the when it happens, and just the dinner. But yeah.
If Halloween was called the babysitter. Oh, sorry.
No, good.
Go on. I was saying if Halloween was called the Babysitter Murders,
it
wouldn't be
right.
An October movie like it's an essential. Like the fact that they tagged it with the holiday, you link it forever, and that's why Thanksgiving would pop into your head or something like that rather than Blood Rage. But
and none of their titles.
So did you? Oh no, go ahead. Keep going.
I was gonna say none of their titles have Thanksgiving because it was Blood Rage, Night at Shadow Woods, and Slasher. Those are three titles that this movie's been released under.
Oh wow!
None of that. They had 3 opportunities. They did not get it right.
So did you guys have a favorite moment or kill from this one? There's some pretty good.
Yeah, go for it.
My favorite part was that sex on the diving board. It's probably the worst kill. Like, there's a lot of cool kills in there, like with the thing, but it's just like so bad. And I'm like, yeah, I just let go of how like the girl just jumps off the board. She's like, ah, and then he just jumps in the pool. I was like, oh, they didn't show any nudity. It was like very cleverly done, but it's just so funny. Stop that. It's like he's literally triggered by sex. They like went to the 100th degree of exaggeration. So that's what I thought was great.
That's where it started in the drive-in. So he took the Friday the 13th sex and drugs and just ran with it.
All right.
The mother killing herself for no reason.
That was your favorite?
At the end.
Yeah.
Oh, it was my favorite. It was the most bizarre. This is her last day of filming. What are we gonna do with her? And then just kill yourself. Like there was no like. I don't know. It didn't. It was just bizarre.
They didn't
even decide to go that route.
Bizarre.
I guess the whole movie's pretty.
I don't think they finished it based on the way they did it. You just see the gun there. You don't even see her shoot herself. They probably like, oh, she didn't come back. We're not gonna have this
Can't
scene.
afford her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I think it happened. I think
Yeah,
this-
I think the mom was great. I loved most of the scenes because you could just see what a breakdown she's having the whole movie. She's like, she just starts vacuuming and cleaning the house, and then she's on the floor with her bare hands eating leftovers. It's just she's going through it.
the final girl was so comedic though when she was running around. Like she's like, is there any like it's like she knew she was in the movie. It was like way before they did the meta in like before Scream or even before Friday the 13th Part 6. It's like she would seem she was aware of what was going on, which I really liked.
Oh, there was the where she's knocking on the door and the little
Yeah.
girl, it's just a voiceover of the little girl. That was hilarious. She was just like, no, I'm not letting you in.
It's I don't know. It's a great little gem. I don't know if at the time they're probably like, this will probably make money, and you know later they got people like us talking about it. But I'm glad it exists.
Yeah.
I'll take this over CGI blood any day.
Oh, of course. It also goes back to what you said before about the look, the feel is the same. Going back to our way back to our VHS discussion where you watch it on a tape as opposed to a 4K, and it has that vibe. Like you can tell it wasn't shot in a studio with lights and with 16 different camera angles. It was just them running through that pool room with one camera, and it just you can't you can't duplicate the vibe that you get from guerrilla filmmaking and just low budget,
Mm-hmm.
and shooting it on film gives it that. Yeah, you're right, all those early 80s movies just have a certain
Darkness.
look and feel, and you feel like you're watching something you shouldn't be watching. Like you're watching a moment in time.
Yeah.
It gives it that, like you got a tape of something that somebody recorded it, didn't want anybody to see, and you're watching it. Going to what other movies that we talk about, like Street Trash and
Oh yeah.
all those movies out in the street, New York. Like
Any
Yeah.
other good, you guys know other good like twins movies like this? I can only think of like Dead Ringers.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dead Ringers. Yeah, David Cronenberg.
I don't know.
like a featured twin.
Because I feel like the story felt familiar, but I can't think of why. Like I can't think of another.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, twins. No, I'm kidding.
Grady twins in Shining.
True.
True.
They weren't really.
Yeah, but still, it's twins in horror. Yeah.
Yeah, twins.
I don't know.
scare people. Got a lot to look forward to.
Huh.
I'm not Todd.
Parent Trap.
Oh shit. I love that. And I don't know. This movie. Stop that. It's so quotable too. Like you need to have a couple of beers around Thanksgiving and watch this movie, you know. Holiday slasher movies. Good subgenre.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there you have it. Blood Rage, Slasher, Night at Shadow Woods. No, that's not that one of the titles. But thank you so much for joining us at Quality Attempted. I've been the Dr. Julian, Jim, and John. John, the baseman.
Tuning in. On the
Huh?
Baseman, yeah.
John the
John
baseman.
the Baseman on all your social medias. Yep.
Yeah, find him. Love him. Like him. Join us next time. We'll be talking more about Christmas theme horror movies, slashers, and such. I've got a couple of ideas rattling on, as sure as you guys do as well. So thank you so much for joining Quality Attempted, and
Leave a comment.
leave a comment. Like us. Come
Have
on.
any suggestions?
We're
5
insecure.
stars.
We need validation.